only like 5 more of these videos to go. And I'm just 6. Oh boy. So I'm just going to keep rushing through them. I think I'll just start from here. This is my Dark regular Sullivan build. I don't really think I have a video of him already, but I'm pretty tired, and I just did a Google search and YouTube search and I didn't find anything. So hopefully I don't have any in there, or maybe I do. I don't know. I seem to remember doing a video, but I don't remember doing a video at the same time, and I can't find evidence for it. There we go. Oh. Bladewing is a pretty good budget deck, and there's really a lot you can do with it. And it's probably got one of the most ingenious mechanisms in all of Vanguard that surprise a lot of people. And honestly, nobody really appreciates how good it is. It's defense and offense, let's say. So let's start with the starter. G-Break 1, Werefleet or Ordinaz, Counterblast 1, put this into the Soul. Soul charge 2, and if you have 6 or more cards in Soul, draw a card. Basically, I use him second or third in my range of soul blasting because there's 2 points in time where I do a lot of soul charging and like sort of all at once, and he's very useful and he's a part of that, as well as giving me card advantage with Dark Irregulars needed. Dark Knight Nightmare Land into Soul plus 3k, and he's apparently an expensive crit, partly because nobody really buys at 3 anymore. It's out of print for other crits. 4 Hysteric Shirleys into Soul, Soul Charge 1. She's also weirdly expensive on occasion. 4 Heal Triggers. Alice of Nightmare Land, best art. This isn't an Ammon build. I'm not fond of the Ammon builds, though I do like Ammon Reverse. 2 Stride Enablers for Shahar to let you stride more, because this deck runs on strides more than most of my other decks. Killing Dollmaster into Soul, beginning of your main phase, Soul Charge 2. She does work. Dimension Creeper, the best grade 1 ride. From Soul, put this unit into the drop zone, Soul Charge 2. Basically, it's a 1 for 2, and if you Soul Charge him, you can Soul Blast him and just keep going. He's pretty great, keeping that Soul going. There's a guy who can summon them into it, and I don't really care for him because, 1, this deck has no problem Soul Charging Dimension Creepers, and 2, I prefer the draw. And the draw is the big thing about it. The Soul Charge 2 is indifferent to me. Flag Breaker, he's the next level perf, and basically what he can do is, if there's another copy of him in the drop zone, and there can be, you can unflip a damage, which this deck sometimes needs. But really can do all its things as long as it has like 2 damage unflipped, funnily enough. Psycho Grave, Counterblast 1, if you have 6 or more in Soul. Soul Charge 1 plus 5k. That's all he is. You know, he's a plus 5k, and then another attacker for a pretty powerful column. Then we have Emblem Master on hits, Counterblast 2, Soul Charge 3. Not much else to say about him, he just keeps up the soul. Then we have Sarakiel. She does not do the work I thought she would do, but that's okay. She's restraint, so she can attack normally. Her anti-restraint is Soul Blast 3, and she's 11k, by the way. Until end of turn, it can attack. And then when boosted, it gets plus 5k. So it's on Vanguard Circle. So it can be useful, but Soul Blasting in Dark Irregulars doesn't always work. And then we have 4 Flying Librarian, Counterblast 1, when this unit is placed on rearguard slot. You may pay the cost if you do Soul Charge 2. If you have 6 or more, draw a card. And then if you have 10 or more, unflip a damage. I can get my soul up to 10 really easily, so she's always a nice free draw. And then eventually an Interceptor. Squallmaker Vampire, Counterblast 1 with his G-Break 1. When this unit is boosted, pay the cost if you do Soul Charge 2 plus 5k. That's how it works. He does good work. He fills up the soul for later.
What are you doing?
Doing a video. Parents. Am I right? Anyway, Apparently they didn't get my glare. That makes me sad sometimes. I need to glare harder, faster, stronger. Just a glare to pierce the heavens. I'm still gonna keep this in. Yeah, he does work. You know, he keeps up power columns. You don't really get boosters all the time, but when you do, like with her or him, who, if you need a booster, you can work, or if you need to get a Shahar lot out, you know, it's a 21k column, and you do get a lot of power, and you can give a lot of power out through your strides. Shahar lot. G-Break 2, if you have 10 or more cards in Soul, plus 10k and a crit, whatever. The real good ability is when this unit is stridden, Counterblast 1, Soul Charge 2, choose your Vanguard, and if this unit attacks a Vanguard, if the number of cards in your Soul is 6 or more, your opponent chooses a card and discards it and retires it. And that's pretty good. Basically, it's you know, it hurts your opponent, gives your Vanguard more advantage. It soul charges. So, like, what happens is you ride. So you go grade 1, 0 pops out, grade 2. So you have 2 cards in soul. Ride him, stride, soul charge. You have 4. And then you use Wear Fleet or Ordinaz into soul 6, draw a card. 7 cards in soul. And then you can use other cards like, say, him, if you wrote him first, to get to 9. And then you're in range to use her abilities, 11, 13. And then use Kids Kalira for 15. But that's an ideal situation. But yeah, he still does a lot of work. Actually, I'm sorry. It would be 14. My math was wrong. But because Dimension Creeper removes one of him, that's why I didn't calculate. So it's really just a +1 to soul, but hey, it's still +1 you didn't have to spend before. So yeah, he just does a lot of work. He's good. He's good. Let's see here. Bladewing Sullivan, he's the ace of the deck. If the number of cards in your soul is 15 or more, this unit gets continuous. By the way, he's not G-Break. So if you can find a way to get that many cards in soul G-Break before G-Break, this unit gets plus 10k shield when you guard with it. And then at the end of the battle, this unit was attacked. Soul Charge 2. Basically what it is, by the way, rush decks destroy this guy. It makes me very angry. Basically, let's say that you guard with one of these. You think it's a 10k, right? No, it's a 20k. You see this, it's a perfect shield, right? No, it's a perfect shield plus 10k. I wish I was joking about that, but I'm not. Basically, everything the guard gets plus 10k, so that means, yeah, you can officially guard with less. But if you have a rush deck, they can attack you with a 5k trigger and you'd still have the Soul Blast. But guess what? You've been filling your soul up all this time, haven't you? You've got like 21 cards in soul, and you got a lot of triggers in soul, don't you? You can choose what you soul charge. So what you do is you soul blast. You can choose what you soul blast. So you soul blast your triggers. So let's say that you have a soul of 21, which is hard but easy to get in the late game. Especially when you know all the soul charging from here. So I guarantee you at least 8 of those cards are triggers. Maybe even 6 or 5 if you're lucky. So that means that you have quite a few triggers, you know, in the soul remaining, in the drop zone, in your hand, wherever. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. You keep on soul blasting out triggers, and you soul blast out perfect shields. And your eventual goal is to get a deck of all perfect shields. Of all triggers. You'll never quite get there. But let me put it like this. You're almost guaranteed a trigger every drive check late game. Multiple triggers. I oftentimes just double trigger all the time, simply because I've removed most of the non-triggers and put back triggers. By the way, his second ability, when he's ridden, when he rides, choose a rear guard, search for 3, put it in the soul. whatever. That's just a way to get cards in the soul. But this guy is where it all comes together. When this unit is placed in Vanguard, if you have a hard card with Blade Wing, return all the cards from your drop zone into deck. Shuffle deck. If you have 15 cards of more in the soul, your front row, all your rear guards in the front row get plus 10k. That doesn't really happen as often. But if not, you soul charge 5. So you just put back about 10 triggers after a very hard fight. And let's say that he's the first stride. And you've used all various abilities and stuff like that, and you've soul blasted a lot, soul charged a lot. Everything you've guarded with, everything that's been retired, everything you soul blasted, everything you've healed goes back into the deck. And guess what? When you heal, you should always remove triggers or unflip damage or flipped over damage. When you soul blast for his guardian ability, you should always soul blast triggers. When you pay for guard, you should always use triggers. And when things retire, well, guess what? They'll come back. Squall makers, flying librarians, whichever you intercept with will come back. And then he fuels soul for the guardian ability, which is pretty great. Yeah, he's just a really good card. It's a pity he's limited to Blade Wings. But Blade Wings are the only one with the abilities to really handle it. You notice I didn't use Reggie. Reggie's bad. He gets a crit and all. He gets several crits and all that jazz, but he's just not the same. And then we have Love Tempest kills Kill Lyra. When this unit attacks its Vanguard, soul charge 2. And then if you have 6 or more, draw a card. And you will have 6 or more with Ordinance Weft Leader. But she's an on-hit draw and soul charge. It's pretty great. You can hit up to 14 or so. Good stuff. Then we have Abominable 1, Gilda Ray. He's your finisher of the deck. Probably one of the most useful cards in this set. Probably one of the best level 2 strides that you have here, and that they need another thing to flip over. Flip over Gilda Ray, 10 or more in soul. This unit gets plus 10k until end of turn. And then if you have 15 or more, actually you could use it in the first, can't you? Oh no, I see what I'm doing here. 15 or more, your opponent cannot use grade 1s or higher. And then if you have 2 or more in the G zone, or rather, if you have G3, Generation Break 3, it gets a crit. So basically, you have let's say he's boosted, a 26, 36, 43k crit 2 that your opponent can only use zeros on. And guess what? You've been laughing at their guard the entire game. And it's really easy to get plus 10k, to get 15 soul in this deck. They're dead most of the time. But you gotta be prepared, and you gotta know just when to use him, otherwise you waste him. Alright, that's my Blade Wing deck. He's really good. I recommend everyone, give him a shot, because he's a lot of fun, and the guard is pretty good. Aqua Force is his natural bane, but Aqua Force is a lot of people's bane. They're kind of a meta killer, even though they are meta. Don't think about it. See ya.